The Galactic Council chamber fell silent as Ambassador Aliana Chen powered down her holographic interface for the last time. 300 cycles she had stood in this hall representing humanity among the stars. 300 cycles of advocacy, negotiation, and patient diplomacy. Now, she was done. The human delegation withdraws from the Galactic Council, effective immediately, Aliana announced, her voice carrying across the crystalline chamber without a trace of emotion. All human assets, personnel, and technology will be recalled within the solar month. Council Speaker Vexter S. mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. The Krathaxian had led the council for 2 millennia, and in his experience, species didn't simply leave. They begged, they bargained, they threatened, but they never walked away from the greatest political body in 3 galaxies. Ambassador Chen, surely this is unnecessary. Vexter S. translator rendered his chemical signals into standard speech. The recent trade restrictions are merely temporary measures. Temporary. Aliana's laugh was sharp. You've blocked human trade routes for 18 cycles. You've denied our colony ships passage through council space. You've vetoed every human proposal for 22 consecutive sessions. She gathered her data tablets with deliberate care. We're not angry, Speaker. We're just done wasting our time. Beside her, James Morrison, Humanity's military liaison, stood at attention, his face an unreadable mask. The decorated admiral had served aboard the UHSF Indomitable during the Sector 7 conflicts, and he knew when a battle was lost. This one had been lost long before they'd ever entered this chamber. You need the council, hissed Ambassador Ilsith of the Serpentine Collective, her scales rippling with barely contained derision. Alone humanity is nothing, a young species, barely crawling from your single star system. Aliana paused at the chamber exit, glancing back over her shoulder. Perhaps, I guess we'll find out. The doors sealed behind them with a resonant chime, and James finally allowed himself to exhale. That went better than expected. I half thought they'd try to detain us. They still think we're bluffing, Aliana replied, her heels clicking against the station's polished floor as they headed toward the docking bay. They'll realize soon enough. 6 months later, the first cracks appeared. The Galactic Council had built its prosperity on a foundation few of its members understood. Humans had integrated themselves into 1,000 systems not through force or dominance, but through sheer indispensability. They fixed things, innovated things, and connected disparate species through their peculiar gift for lateral thinking. When the last human engineer departed from the Theta Station repair docks, the station's AI began experiencing cascade failures within days. The Qualari maintenance crews discovered, to their horror, that the entire station's operating system had been jury-rigged by a human technician, named Sarah Chen, Aliana's sister, who had somehow convinced 3 incompatible alien technologies to work in harmony. Without her constant adjustments, the station's life support began fluctuating dangerously. In the Andromeda Exchange, the galaxy's largest financial hub, markets crashed as human algorithmic traders pulled out. It turned out that 70% of cross-species trade optimization had been handled by human financial analysts who possessed an almost supernatural ability to predict market trends across radically different alien economies. Agricultural worlds discovered that their crop yields were dropping. Human agronomists had spent decades teaching alien farmers techniques adapted from Earth crop rotation, companion planting, soil regeneration. Without them, the sophisticated systems began failing. Council Speaker Vexter stared at the cascading reports with growing unease. In his centuries of service, he'd never seen anything like this. The humans hadn't destroyed anything. They hadn't launched cyber attacks or sabotaged infrastructure. They had simply stopped helping. Get Ambassador Chen on subspace immediately, he commanded. We've tried, Speaker, his aide replied nervously. The human communication network has ... changed. All our diplomatic channels now route to an automated message. Vexter accessed the message himself. Humanity thanks the Galactic Council for 3 centuries of cooperation. We wish you well in your future endeavors. All diplomatic relations are hereby concluded. Please do not contact us again. The crisis deepened. The Vrexian Medical Consortium reported that their hospitals were overwhelmed. Human doctors had been instrumental in developing cross-species medical protocols. Without them, treating a Qualari patient with Vrexian equipment was becoming a deadly guessing game. The Catherine military admitted, in a classified report that was immediately leaked, that their fleet combat effectiveness had dropped 40%. Human tactical advisors veterans like James Morrison had revolutionized their warfare doctrine. Humans fought differently than any other species. They were unpredictable, creative, and disturbingly effective at turning disadvantages into victories. Most catastrophically, the Council's vast data networks began fragmenting. For decades, human programmers had served as universal translators between incompatible alien computer systems. They had a gift for making technology from different species work together, a gift born from millennia of forcing incompatible human technologies to cooperate on Earth. Without them, the galactic internet was becoming a Tower of Babel. 12 months after humanity's departure, Council Speaker Vexter did something unprecedented in Council history. He dispatched an official delegation to Earth, bearing a formal request for humanity's return. The delegation was led by Ambassador Ilseth herself, a calculated insult turned desperate plea. Aliana received them in the rebuilt United Human Government headquarters in Geneva, with James standing beside her in full military dress. Neither smiled. Ambassador Chen Ilseth began, her translator's tone carefully neutral. The Council recognizes that we may have undervalued humanity's contributions, may have. James's voice was ice. Ilseth's scales rippled with what her species expressed as embarrassment. We request that humanity reconsider its withdrawal. The Council is prepared to offer full voting rights, preferred trade status, and a permanent seat on the No. The single word from Aliana struck like a physical blow. We don't need you anymore, Aliana continued, her voice perfectly calm. While you've been scrambling to replace us, we've been building new colonies, new trade networks, new alliances with species who actually respect us, independent species who are also tired of the Council's bureaucracy. James pulled up a holographic display. The Free Trade Coalition now includes 47 species. All of them prefer working with us over dealing with Council red tape. Our economy has grown 18% since we left. But the Council, Ilseth started, is hitting rock bottom, Aliana interrupted, and you did it to yourselves. You had humanity's cooperation, our innovation, our bridge-building skills. We asked for nothing but basic respect and fair treatment. Instead, you gave us contempt. She stood, signaling the meeting's end. Here's what's going to happen. Your species individually can apply for bilateral relations with humanity. We'll consider each application on its own merits. But the Galactic Council, she shook her head. We're done with institutions that don't value us. You'll regret this, Ilseth hissed, her diplomatic composure finally cracking. The Council has power, had power, James corrected quietly. Past tense. As the Council delegation departed, Aliana watched their ship disappear into the stars. Beside her, James spoke softly. Think they've learned their lesson? Aliana smiled a real smile, for the first time in years. Probably not, but it doesn't matter anymore. We don't need their permission to thrive. Behind them, Earth's orbital shipyards glittered in the sunlight, constructing vessels for humanity's expanding alliance. The Free Trade Coalition was growing daily, built on principles the Galactic Council had forgotten: mutual respect, fair dealing, and the revolutionary idea that no species was inherently superior to another. Humanity hadn't conquered the galaxy. They had simply walked away from those who didn't appreciate them and, in doing so, had built something better. The Galactic Council would recover, eventually, but they would do it without humanity's help, and they would spend centuries remembering the cost of taking Earth's children for granted. Humanity had left quietly. The galaxy would never be the same.